Oh, it seems to work every time at the moment, doesn't it? Do you remember when it always used to take me like 10 minutes to get working? Actually, I am 10 minutes late, so it has taken me 10 minutes to get working tonight as well. Hello. Let's go over to my PC. See if I can see myself. Steve UK. Yeah, that looks like me. Yeah, that looks like me. And I can hear myself. That's excellent. Welcome, welcome. Morningtide, Eventide. Part 4. Who is this coming through the door? Oh, Sarah's joining us. Hello, Sarah. I knew it was you. It's a bit of theatre for the proles. Yeah? They don't know the magic that goes on behind the curtain. Oh, who's come in just now? Why, 'tis my lovely companion or assistant. Which do you prefer? Secretary, administrator. My lovely administrator Sarah is going to be looking things up for me probably when I force her to, but mostly just adding moral support. And we want to go. Oh, do you know what? Preamble. We want to go in here first. Look what she pointed out to me today. Look, this is the thread for content creation on the forum. Look, who do you see down there on YouTube channels? Who do you see? It's me, isn't it? Look, Steve. It's me. I mean, they've put a capital S on it, but I mean, I can forgive them that. You know. Now, a lot of you will be wondering what the numbers are there and why it says like Goz 1, Main Loop 1, Althazar 1, Shteev 5. What it means is, and don't look too closely into this, just take my word for it. What it means is I'm 5 times more popular than all the other content creators. That is what it means. I'm sure that's what it, and let's not dwell on that anymore. Let's just take that as read, that that's what it means. And crack on with some cards. This is where we were. I just looked it up, so I know. Notorious Throng we just did. Which we didn't think much of, even though it gave us an extra swap. Because, nah. So how are we doing? 181, 828? No, 181 out of 316. That is, oh, let me just do some maths in my head here. 136 cards left. I'm not sure I'll get through all of those tonight. But we'll try, shall we? Noxious Hatchling. This is a 9 mana 6/6, so that's very mid-shit tiers. Practically low, high-shit tier. We've seen a few of these 9 mana 6/6s. I'm mastering a different one at the moment. I don't own this one. I think I've got the white-red one that I'm mastering at the moment in some random event. When this creature enters the battlefield, create 4 blight gems, activate 1 black or green, clear a blight. Yes, I mean, it's basically just a 9 mana 6/6, which is, you know, fine for the Silver Jewel. I mean, I really feel like blight gems. We're more than, well, over halfway now. And I really think that there's something of a missed opportunity because they've largely been used as a cost, haven't they? They largely do nothing else other than allow cards to have slightly more power and toughness than you would normally expect for the mana cost. And given that, cards in Magic Puzzle Quest always have way too low power and toughness for the mana cost, it's not been good enough, really. There are some other cards that do things with blight gems, but a lot of the time blight gem has just been a cost. So I'm calling it now. Blight gems fail. Nuclavy. Oh, this is a masterpiece. Don't know what's going on there. There's a big ball of eyes, but you know, elementals are weird, so we expect that. When this creature enters the battlefield, if your Planeswalker's colour identity is exactly red, so if you're playing like a Chandra or a Jaya, return the first spell card from your graveyard to your hand. That card gains full mana. Okay, so we've got a nice insta-mana filler giver here, but only if you're playing a mono-red Planeswalker. Now, mono-red is kind of the worst of the colours of Planeswalkers, isn't it? But I mean, that's a good card if you are happening to play one of those. When this creature enters the battlefield, if your Planeswalker's colour identity is exactly blue, I mean, that's slightly better. Exactly blue. I mean, I have to play exactly blue. I'm quite happy playing Jace Mirror Mage in Scotty Bloodlines. Draw 2 cards, then convert 6 gems to blue. Right, well, I mean, that's a bit poo, isn't it? 2 cards, 6 gems to blue. I mean, that's more than likely not going to hit a match. That's not really part of a combo, is it? No, we'd be much more interested in return the first spell card from your graveyard to your hand. That card gains full mana. Of course, that is the type of card, the Insta-Mana Filler Giver, that would be useful in a Loop Hero deck. But good luck building a Loop Hero deck in a mono-red Planeswalker. I mean, it's quite easy to build a Loop Hero deck these days, but they all exist in 3-color Planeswalkers. So I've got my favourite one is probably in Brokarn. He's green, blue, and red. I've got one in Guff. That's white, red, and blue. That's a little less good. It's a little harder to start the loop going because you have to get one of your creatures. If you get to play green, you get to play with Genesis Wave. So there's a lot of spells in the Guff one that only keep the loop going if you've already started it, but won't start the loop. And then I'll play it with the Reaper King. So those are the 3 versions of Loop Hero that I have at the moment. None of them, I've not been able to build a Loop Hero deck in a 2-color Planeswalker like Dak. So the odds of playing it in a mono red one seem very low. I mean, you know, Heat Shimmer's mono red. What else have you got in mono red? Practically nothing, I expect. There might be something else that I'm forgetting, but how do I feel about color identity exactly red? I mean, it kind of seems okay, doesn't it? Color identity exactly red and exactly blue. It kind of says if you're playing a bad Planeswalker, have this powerful effect. Yeah. So it's kind of okay saying here's a Insta-Mana Filler Giver because you can only play it with a bad Planeswalker. But we've already seen that this system kind of falls down a little bit, don't we? Because they've given us these dual lands, haven't they? We've got all 10 dual lands now. And at first they only gave us the friendly ones. And we were like, well, maybe that's okay because, like, you know, the most powerful Planeswalkers in the game didn't get one of these color identity lands, did they? You know, Dak on a Minotaur didn't get one. And then, of course, Dak and Grist didn't get them. So you were having to go and play people like, you know, Venser and Domri and, you know, slightly a bit more tier 2 Planeswalkers to be able to use the color identity lands. So it felt like it was a well-designed limitation. But then, of course, they broke that by immediately then printing the next 5 of the cycle. So Grist, who is the most powerful Planeswalker in the game. Yes, she is. Shut up. The only reason we don't play Grist all the time is because she's very difficult to fucking slow down. And in fact, I believe Zibvet does play Grist all the time and everything. Maybe not everything, but all the, you know, all the coalition events is what I mean. Anyway. So the idea that that was a limitation on the land kind of breaks down when you say, well, the limitation is, the way that you are limited is by only being able to play the most powerful Planeswalker in the game. And again, Dak's right up there in power level. I believe Madren's got him pegged as S+ tier. I believe he's right up there with Grist. I don't really play Dak a whole lot, and it's largely just because I can't live without Golden Wish. really, that's the only reason I can't play. I don't play Dak so much, is that I can't live without it. It's such a good card, you know. I mean, there used to be Requisition Raid as well in white. Requisition Raid used to be so much better than Chaos Warp. That's less true now, of course. Now that Requisition Raid has had quite a substantial nerf, I did find myself playing with it in a coalition event the other day. But mostly I'm not playing with Requisition Raid. So, yeah, so maybe I'm not necessarily the person to talk to about how powerful Dak is, but oh my god, I could tell you about how powerful Grist is. So, the whole idea that this is a limitation has kind of broken down, you know, because that's not necessarily going to be true at points in the future, you know. If you make a Nuclevi, if you make a card like this, and you say, well, if your color identity is mono black, then you get this incredibly powerful thing, but the rest of the time, you know, all of the supposedly good planeswalkers don't get it. Well, you know, maybe that mono black card fits really well into Liliana of the Veil, who is an extraordinarily dangerous planeswalker. And if she gets a super, super powerful card that accelerates her game plan, maybe that's a really bad thing. So I'm not sure that I like this. If they curated the planeswalkers properly, so, you know, mono planeswalkers were the worst, and then 2-color planeswalkers were the next worst, and 3-colored were the most powerful, then they could have this kind of limitation on cards, but they don't. And would we want them to as well? Yeah? Would we? It's kind of nice, isn't it? That every so often a dual planeswalker will come up and, you know, be one of the top tier. I mean, not when they're completely broken, but, you know, be nice if they could just be in the top tier and not just break the top tier. So what am I saying? I'm saying I don't really like this card. That's what I'm saying. As I say, you know, this is a very slightly cheaper Phenomenon Investigators, isn't it? You know, when you're playing red. And you can't argue with that, really, when you're playing. But who plays mono red? I mean, come on. We've just had Destiny in the Storms, and there's a red node. Who plays mono red in there? Seriously, nobody. Come on. You only play mono red if you haven't got any other options. Sorry, noobs, but, you know, you're well aware, I'm sure, that when you have more resources, you'll be able to play with better planeswalkers in that node. Moving on, Obsidian Battle Axe. This looks like it's going to be rubbish, doesn't it? When you cast a warrior creature for the first time each turn, that creature gains +2/+1 and haste until the beginning of your next turn. That's rather odd for a equipment, isn't it? Really, that's not what an equipment does. That feels wrong to me. An equipment should say this specific creature hits harder in combat because he's wielding the Obsidian Battle Axe. This is more of an enchantment, isn't it? Every time you do a thing, it applies. So every creature you play in a turn, it applies to all of them. So, that, which is really all I've got to say about that, because, you know, we don't care about that, obviously. Odious Tro. It makes me think of Drooling Grudian, and it's just not as fun to say as Drooling Grudian, is it? Odious Tro. It's okay. Odious Tro. Is it Odious Trow? I'm going to say Odious Tro because the assonance is pleasing to my ear, but it's not as good as saying Drooling Grudian. Seriously, try saying it yourself out loud, because until you've actually done it, if you're just hearing me say it, you're not getting the joy of it, like, coming out of your mouth. Yeah, this is one of those cards which makes you remember that Webcore, who I ought to be nice to Webcore, really, because, you know, they put me in the content creator slot, and they put a number on there saying that I'm 5 times more popular than Goz. So really, I should be more polite to them. I'll tell you what, tonight I'm going to be more polite. That sounds like I'm weaseling my way through that, isn't it? By saying more polite than normal. I'll be more, yeah, I'll be as polite. I'll tell you what, I'll be as polite as they deserve. How about that? That's how polite I'm going to be to Webcore tonight. Thanks, guys. Didn't get my preview card incidentally again. Just check what's happened to that, because I've not had one in a while now. Anyway, yeah, they literally don't know what regenerate does, do they? Shall we tap on it and see what it does? At the beginning of your turn, a creature with regenerate that has received damage will heal its toughness according to the value next to its regenerate keyword. So if this creature, I'm sure a lot of you are way ahead of me here, if this 1/1 creature has taken damage, then next turn it will heal that damage back. Can you spot the problem? I'll leave that as an exercise to the reader. Offal Snout, again, a disgusting elemental thing. When this creature enters the battlefield, exile the first 2 cards of target graveyard. Obviously pointless. Una's Grace, draw a card. I mean, that's too expensive, isn't it? I've played a bit of Retrace in... Here we go again. I'm going to start ranting about the Commoners' Cup again, aren't I? I've played a bit of Retrace in the Commoners' Cup, and honestly, I thought I might get a little bit more use out of it than I did, because, you play in the Commoners' Cup. We all do it, don't we? We play Grist, we play 3 or 4 lands, we play some removal, we play 3 reasonably large creatures, and that's about it, isn't it? You try and cram as many things as you're mastering in there as possible. If you don't care about mastery, then you're generally playing with the same types of things. You're playing with that 6/2 thing with persist. You're playing with the scarecrow that discards a card every turn. But generally you're playing with those things. So I'm often playing with a bunch of lands in the Commoners' Cup. So I thought, well, maybe Retrace spells, because I've got lands. Maybe I will be exiling them in order to bring Retrace cards out of the graveyard. The problem is firstly, they're all shit, and secondly, your lands kind of slowly degrade over time anyway. It's not like you can put one land in play and assume that it's just going to stay there. So you need to kind of keep playing them anyway. So really your best use for multiple lands, especially if you've got a lot of them in play and they're all converting a lot of gems, really your best use for those lands. And remember, we're not talking about general use here. We're still just talking about the shittest use possible of mastering cards in the Commoners' Cup. Your best use of your lands is not Retrace. Retrace is not good enough for the shittest possible use of a card. Honestly, I was a little disappointed to discover that while I was looking to see if you could play in the shittest possible use of the card, you kind of can't. Anyway, 5 mana, too expensive. Orchard Warden. When another tree folk creature enters the battlefield under your control, gain X life. X is equal to that creature's toughness up to 7. I mean, okay, alright, fair enough. Somewhere in... It gets to be in mid-shit tier. Kind of low mid-shit tier. But it gets to be around there somewhere, I think. Order of the Golden Cricket. Does that just look like a Chicken McNugget to me? He looks like he's riding a Chicken McNugget, doesn't he? That's what I see, anyway. At the beginning of your turn, this creature gains flying until end of turn. Or it could just have flying, couldn't it? Outrage Shaman. What on earth is going on there?
You are an outrage shaman.
Who knows? I am an outrage shaman. Do you know what? I'm going to go and look and see if that's a title. And if it is, I'm going to check. I've had the same title for ages now, haven't I? What's my title at the moment?
What is your title? Malevolent Hermit.
How dare you, malevolent her? It's something like Charming Scoundrel, isn't it? Not Charming Scoundrel, I think it is. But I think, if Outrage Shaman is a title, I think, oh, hello, Zibvert, welcome in. I think I might change it to that. Let's see what this is. Goblin. See, it's a goblin as well. It suits me down to the ground, doesn't it? When it enters the battlefield, deal X damage to target creature. X is your chroma red. Yeah, very underwhelming. Overbeing of Myth. Here we go. Oh, but this, look. So this is a 10 mana 2/2, and you're all saying, well, because uncommons have to be rubbish, Steve. But look, here we move along to the next one. Overbeing of Myth is also a 10 mana 2/2. What the hell? Oh, but no, it's going to get bigger. Oh, it looks like it gets quite a bit bigger as well. Let's see what's going on. At the beginning of your turn, draw a card. Then this creature gets +X/+X. X is a number of cards in your hand permanently. At the beginning of your turn, if this creature's power is 12 or greater, this creature gains hexproof. Well, frankly, it could just have hexproof all the time, to be perfectly honest. Now, this is not big enough, really. I mean, clearly high shit tier. It'll be, this will most certainly be fairly likely to be the most powerful card in your pile of unmastered cards that you're mastering. But for a creature that's just beefy, that powers itself up every turn, I mean, it's not... The acid test these days is whether you can play it in Planar Chaos. And gaining +6/+6 permanently every turn is certainly not good enough. Nethergoyf with a space-time anomaly, that's getting like +60/+60 every turn permanently. You know, and of course my old favourite playing with Elspeth and Porcelain Gallery, getting about plus 30, plus 30, plus 40, plus 40 every turn. So plus 6. We couldn't care less, actually. Very high shit tier, that card. Pax Disdain, target opposing creature gets -2, -2, blah, blah, blah. Patrol Signaler. When a white non-token creature enters the battlefield, create a Kithkin Soldier token. Yeah, it's just, again, just one of those poster child cards for why Tribal, or Kindred we call it now, don't we? Why Kindred just doesn't work in Magic Puzzle Quest. Phosphorescent Feast. This looks like a Ron Spencer piece of art if I ever saw one. Come on. It's Ron Spencer, isn't it? Gain X life. Oh, geez, that's bad. Wow. I mean, what? 5 times your chroma at least. Yeah? How do we make that card so you might actually give a shit about it? Make it a cantrip and make it like 5 times your chroma. I don't know. Like, because Quintorius can do it, can't he? He can gain shitloads of life. So, oh, mind you, it's Grist gaining shitloads of life. It's in green, isn't it? So, but then, Grist doesn't care about gaining life. Grist can just beat the living crap out of you anyway. Yeah, fuck it. Make it a cantrip. Make it 5 times X life. There you go. Fix your card for you. Preeminent Captain. I mean, yeah, okay, it's not an uncommon, but who cares? It's just not an unplayable piece of shit. I did say I was going to be polite to them, didn't I? That's a shame. Never mind. Preeminent Captain. When this creature attacks, the first soldier creature in your hand gains half of its mana. Rounded down, yeah, rubbish. Primal Beyond. Yes, here we go. Oh, now look, this is a land that costs 7 mana. Now, I mean, it's not a conversion land, so I'm not, that would be my favourite thing. I like conversion lands, please, for 7 mana. But okay, it was a land at 7 mana, so we're in Swarmyard territory, aren't we? Beginning of your turn, gain 5 mana. Then the first elemental card in your hand gains 12 mana. Now, I think we've got to respect that, haven't we? Yeah, because 5 mana every single turn, that's okay. Because, that's what we get from Swarmyard. And, it's not all we get from Swarmyard. If we weren't getting the blocking token, or alternatively pulling a Crow Whip Cracker out of our graveyard every turn with Swarmyard, if all we were getting was the 5 mana, we would instead probably be playing with one of the colour identity lands that gave us 8 mana a turn, wouldn't we? Or even 15. But 5 mana a turn, and then the potential to get an extra 12 mana, 17 mana in a turn. I mean, you can't call that 17 mana every turn. Don't think that I'm saying that. But that is a thing that might happen. There are a lot of elementals around at the moment. I mean, I don't remember a single elemental. Many elementals we've seen in the last few sets, but I don't remember a single one that I thought, oh, I definitely really want to play that. I mean, you can play this with your Nutclavy. Excited about that? When you cast an elemental card for the first time during your turn, if that card's a creature, that card gains menace. Right, well, I mean, that's essentially nothing there. They really could have left that last sentence off, couldn't they? They wanted to make it look like it was better. I mean, it depends on the elementals, doesn't it? Gaia's Revenge is the only elemental that's really leaping to mile. And when was the last time you saw a Gaia's Revenge in a coalition event? I bet it was a long time ago. What's a really good elemental, Sarah?
Gaia's Revenge.
No, a really good elemental that people actually play with in Standard right now.
Volcanic Rambler.
Is that the best you've got? Yeah, you see, this is always the problem, isn't it? With a card like this, we always get cards like this as we're going along, don't we? And I always say, well, if there are elementals for it to work with, if in the card pool, then it will be really good. And there never are there? We always see these cards that say, oh, put 3 creatures that cost 8 mana or less from your graveyard into play. And I go, wow, if there's loads of those to play with, that'll be really good. And there never are. So, yes, I mean, we've got to respect this, the 12 mana, and there might certainly be an elemental that shows up. But you don't really want just one elemental in your deck, do you? To power this. Otherwise, you're just getting 5 mana a turn. So I don't know. It'd be a nice thing to have. I feel like I'll probably never use it. I'm certainly not going to chase it. But it's all right. Obviously, I hate the fact that it's... Just had to remember who I was for a second. I hate the fact that it's gaining mana rather than converting. I think lands should convert, but that's just a weird peccadillo of my own. And also 17 mana is too much as well. I don't like these huge swings. You know, I hate the colour identity lands are ridiculous with a 15 mana a turn. I mean, fuck off. Is that designed? No, it's not. Oh, I really like it. Yeah, do you? Do you really? Do you really like playing with cards that are too powerful? I mean, you can't possibly lose. Or wonder why? Primal Crux. At the beginning of your turn, this creature gets +X/+X until the beginning of your next turn. Not even permanent. It's a 1/1. It doesn't even get it permanently. Get fucked. Pulling teeth. Yes, I know how they feel. That is a serious piece of art, isn't it? Doesn't that make your skin go? Your opponent discards the first card that can be discarded from their hand. Okay. Then clash. If you win, your opponent discards the first card that can be discarded from their hand. I mean, no, because immediately my thought goes to infinite obliteration. So how would we feel about it if it was just the first 2 cards? If it was just infinite obliteration and it just hit the first 2 cards in their hand? I think they could print that. I think they should. I think they should try printing that and see what happens. But I don't think anyone's going to play with that one. I mean, I'll master it in the commoner's card. Puncture Blast. Target creature gets -3/-3. Yeah, whatevs. Pyroclast Console. I mean, they've changed this, haven't they? They've changed this from Wither in paper. But does it shoot players in paper? Because you can't shoot players. Well, not that we care for 3 goddamn damage, but... I mean, at least it gives them -3/-3 permanently, I suppose. I'm always asking for that, aren't I? But not on a whole card. Where did we say we wanted to put -3/-3 effects? We said we wanted to put them like as the second bad ability on a Vanguard with 2 other good abilities. That's where we put it. That's the place for -X/-X abilities. Place for it in the game, but it's rather a narrow place. Kinship Elemental deal 2 damage to each other creature. When you draw the first card in your turn, if it shares a subtype with this, yeah, whatever. Pyrrhic Revival. This is too mirrory. Definitely. In fact, I've tried mastering this and run into some trouble trying to do it in planar chaos. Return the first 3 creatures from each player's graveyard to play under its owner's control. Then all opposing creatures gain finality. So you get 3 creatures from your graveyard, he gets 3 creatures from his graveyard. It's not one of those things where you're pulling something from yours and pulling something from his and you're putting all into play in your side. No, it's not one of those things. So you can't really play with it. It's just, there's just too much chance that Greg will have just dumped something in the graveyard. And anyway, we don't really like resurrection effects anyway, do we? We don't really like getting things from the graveyard. When in this day and age when we can just pull things out of the library, just pay for them free straight away in one single step with one single card. Why are we putting something in the graveyard with 1 card and pulling it out from the graveyard into play with another card? It's twice as many steps. Quill Spike. When a blight gem is cleaned in your turn, this creature gets +3/+3. Okay. Rage Forger. I kind of like the art. There's something weird about it. I don't know what it is. But, you know, it's an elemental. I think it's just the weird perspective on the sword, actually. It's got something of a, like, 1970s kind of Conan book cover about it, hasn't it? It looks like one of those kind of classic works of art.
Be on the side of a van.
And I don't mind. Yes, it should be. Or a pinball machine. Yes,
Or a
that's
pinball
where it
machine.
should be. When this creature enters the battlefield, your shaman creatures get +1/+1. Excellent. Permanently, when a creature you control is attacked, deal 2 damage to your opponent's planeswalker. 14 mana 2/2. There now follows a long and pointless debate over exactly where in shit tier I'm going to put this card. 2 damage. When it attacks, it only deals damage to the planeswalker, and it's a 14 mana 2/2. But it gains permanent, but it's only +1 low shit tier. Sorry. Raven's Crime. Here we go. Your opponent discards the last card without mana from their hand. You know, might be a place for like first card with Retrace. We might think about, because we've thrown away, haven't we, Pulling Teeth for only getting rid of 1 card, when you can get rid of 2 with Infinite Obliteration. So maybe if this did the first card, it cost 3 mana, but then it had Retrace so you could get it back again. Maybe there would be a reason for that card to exist. I still kind of doubt it. Sorry. Razorfin Abolisher. When this creature enters the battlefield, return each buffed creature to its owner's hand. Who's it for? It's an 18 mana 2/2. Who is it for? Who thinks I'm going to go into this game and I can just tell from the fact that I'm playing against Grist, or the fact that I'm playing against Ajani, I can just tell that my opponent is going to be playing with buffed creatures, and this 18 mana 2/2 is the killer app that I want to put in against it. So bad. That XP bar, by the way, that clearly I'm mastering that in story mode. Yeah, not even the Silver Jewel. Story mode, that's where I'm mastering that. Reach of Branches, probably not even mastering it in the top levels of story mode. What I usually do in story mode is that, like, all of the low levels where the opponent has like 30 health, I master utter crap like Razorfin Abolisher. And then just the top 2 levels of story mode where your opponent has like maybe 70 life. Maybe I'll play with like 10 mana 4/4s, like really powerful low shit tier creatures, like 10 mana 4/4s or something. Yeah? So I'm probably not even playing this against the top levels of story mode, which are still shit. That's how bad this is. Reach of Branches, what have we got? 2 Tree Folk tokens, how big are they? So this is a 10 mana 6/8. I mean, that seems quite large, doesn't it? It's a 10 mana 6/0. This is going quite high up shit tier. Does it get into high shit tier? Kindred Tree Folk, what does that mean? When you cast it with the Kindred mechanic. Right, so when you see that with Kinship, the card with Kinship has to be in play, and then you draw another card with the thing, and then it triggers. But it's the other way around with Kindred, because with Kindred, right, you have to play this card. This isn't the card in play. And you play this card, and it affects the cards in play. And they've got a very similar name. I find it all a bit confusing, to be perfectly honest. But this is a 10 mana 6/8. And then when you play it, all creatures that share it, does that mean it gives a +1/+1 to the 6/8 and makes it a 7/9? I've no idea. I mean, who even really cares? And it's got Retrace. I reckon that's probably in high shit tier, to be perfectly honest. Recross the Paths. Fetch the first land from your library. Then Clash. If you win, that card gains 10 mana. If you don't, that card gains 4 mana. Garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. When this support enters the board, a random opposing creature gains can't attack and can't block until the beginning of your next turn. The beginning of your next turn, you gain 1 life. Okay. Redeem the Lost. Target creature you control gains protection. Now, protection, I bet they don't know how protection works as well. Bring your opponent's planeswalker colors until the beginning of your next turn. If you win the Clash, return this to your hand. Who's going to play with that? Really, who's going to play with that? Regal Force. Right, here we go. Let's get into a mythic. I pressed the wrong button and it's gone. What is that? Is that like a bunny? Oh, that didn't help. It's more like a frog there. Maybe it is a frog. Is that a frog? It looks like a stag thing there, but it looks like a frog here. Anyway, whatever it is, it's an 18 mana 5/5 with Defender. That's not good. That's too small, and will probably die the turn it comes into play. When this creature enters the battlefield, draw X cards. Those cards gain half their mana, rounded down. X the number of green creatures you control. So you play it, you draw one card, gains half its mana. We really don't care, do we? Really don't care. In this day and age, when you can play a Phenomenon Investigators and get all the mana. If you out there want to build a deck with 3 green creatures, you play 3 green creatures and you get 3 cards with half their mana, and one of those 3 green creatures is an 18 mana 5/5 with Defender, then by all means do. It will lose. At the beginning of your turn, your first creature gets +X+. Oh, fuck off. It's got one shield. X is equal to this card's level. It's got 1 shield. When your first creature dies for the first time during each turn, just for the first time, it's like this card won a competition to be as bad as possible, isn't it? Rekindled Flame. Is it lighting itself with its hands? It looks like it's lighting itself with its hands. Deal 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. That's not enough. Maybe there's going to be some more. At the beginning of your turn, if your opponent has no cards in hand and this card is in your graveyard, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. No, that's obviously terrible. We can't be doing that. I love cards that spring from your graveyard into your hand or even into play when some kind of condition is met. In fact, they're probably going to have to spring from your graveyard into play, to be perfectly honest. You know, I'm thinking of my favourite Blood Operative, to be perfectly honest. So the idea of a spell doing, I mean, obviously, the specific condition on this card, if your opponent has no cards in hand, is rubbish. But even the idea of some kind of condition being met and the reward getting is a spell going back into your hand, I think is a bit of a non-starter at the moment. Release the ants! The ants? Not the ants! The ants! Release the ants! Do 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker for 5 mana. I mean, okay, fair enough. Clash, if you win it, create a copy of this card in your hand, then shuffle your library. Isn't that the same as return this card to your hand? Why are those 2 different things? Because 2 different people worked on the 2 different cards, Steve. And they never spoke to each other the entire time they were. Well, maybe they didn't like each other. I think it's Kevin and Clive, and they just don't like it. They just don't get on at Webcore. That's why they never speak to each other. It might help if some of your design team was talking to each other, guys. Rendclaw Tro. This is Wither and Persist here, isn't it? None of which makes any difference because it doesn't have any kind of blocking or interacting ability like Berserker. So it's just a 7 mana 2/2, really. So rubbish. Research the Deep, draw a card, then clash. If you win, return this card to your hand. Again, I'm mastering this, not good enough to play in general usage. I'd play a... What, hello? Is there a thing? Who's somebody in?
Yes, the hunter is here.
Oh, the hunter's in. Hello. Welcome in, the hunter. What was I saying about Research the Deep? I don't... On the unusual, very unlikely occasion that I find myself wanting to play a very cheap blue spell that draws cards, I always go and reach for Artificer's Epiphany from Origins, and I really don't think that this is going to replace that.
No.
Restless Apparition. I mean, if I'm looking for a more powerful card that costs 2 mana, Pull from Tomorrow, people, which I still think is probably one of the most powerful cards in the entire game. But, you know, that's not standard. Restless Apparition. This, again, is a 12 mana 2/2 that goes blah, 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 blah. Oh, Revelark. Okay, now this is very powerful. Oh, I think we've seen it, actually. Haven't we? Wasn't it in one of the Elite packs that we looked at? This is very powerful in paper. Yeah, pretty sure we've seen this. When it leaves the battlefield, so it's a 4/3, it does have a blocking ability, so it is likely to leave the battlefield. Because Revelark in paper, I believe, has Evoke, doesn't it? And that's kind of the thing. You can kind of play it and it will immediately die if you play it with the Evoke. But the Evoke here is kind of weird. When it leaves the battlefield, return the last 2 creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield that are not named Revelark. Okay, so you can't have loops going. And yeah, I'm sure I said all of this about it when I reviewed it the first time. You know, we're resurrecting cards, reanimating cards, and that's not good. And we're not in total control of when it happens because we're blocking and just seeing when it happens, and that's not good. So all the things I said about it before. Revive the Fallen. You may return the first creature card with mana value 10 or less from your area to your hand. So I don't want it to my hand, I want it into play. I wouldn't even mind 10 or less. I'd master a card that said creature card mana value 10 or less from my graveyard to play. Do you know what a creature card is that costs 10 or less that I might want to put from a graveyard into play? Nethergoyf, that's a card that I might want to do that too, but this gets it in my hand. I don't think I care about it in my hand. I mean, I suppose it's not too slow to just play the Nethergoyf. You know, given that the Nethergoyf is then going to kill my opponent in like 2 turns if it's got 400 life. So, I mean, I guess maybe I'll end up mastering it and playing Night Chaos. But obviously not a good card. Riss the Exiled. 5 mana, 3/5. Okay. Very slightly pushed, but not in a way that we give a toss about. When this creature attacks, you gain 6 life. Again, nah. Nah. If I want a creature that gains life, I'm reaching for Healer of the Pride, definitely these days. I was surprised to find myself, like Healer of the Pride, earning a permanent slot, in fact, in my Coalition decks these days. But it just gains so much life. It really does. It gains 9 life when you play it. Gains 9 life when you play all of your other creatures. Gains 9 life off Swarmyard tokens. It gains 9 life off all your opponent's creatures. It just gains a lot of fucking life. And I really didn't think I'd like a card like that, you know, but apparently, not as a creature, but apparently it gains enough that I do. If I want to put a card in my deck that gains some life, it wants to gain a shitload. So I used to quite like Scheming Fence, you know. And Healer of the Pride really does gain a shitload, and Riss the Exiled does not gain a shitload. He gains Drebs and Drabs. Then create an Elf Warrior token. When another elf creature you control dies, reinforce this creature. We guess you'd call it high shit tier? Kind of mid-high shit tier, maybe even low high shit tier. I don't know. I guess you'd call it high shit tier. Rise of the Hobgoblins. This is going to be bad, isn't it? This is a 16 mana, 2 shield enchantment with Chroma. You can just tell everything about this is bad. It's got Death Touch. Does anyone know why it has Death Touch? I mean, I could imagine them like it creating a card that had Death Touch, and they just decided to put it on the card. But no, it's just a typo, isn't it? The Death Touch is obviously just not supposed to be there. When it enters the board, create X Goblin tokens. X is your Chroma red. Yeah. See, we're like, when they made Chroma, when we first looked at Chroma in part 1 of this review, we thought we were kind of behind the basic idea of Chroma. It's, you know, a number that keeps going up throughout the game and doesn't keep resetting. Like level, you know, when you use a level card, the next level comes into your hand, it goes down to level 1. And that's one of the real killers for level. So the idea of a number that just keeps going up through the game, never goes down with each successive card that you drew. We liked the general idea of that, but we did fear, didn't we, that they just weren't going to make the numbers high enough on cards. And that's really been borne out. And here again, I mean, can you imagine this creating 6 Goblin tokens? I mean, we don't give a shit about creating 6 Goblin tokens for 16 mana. And that's quite late into the game, isn't it? We don't really care about creating 8 or 9, and that's really late into the game. At the beginning of your turn, your creatures gain first strike. Yeah, whatevs. Not really very good at all. Your first creature fights target opposing creature for 9. Okay. I mean, there's no real place for this in the game. This feels like a card that's like... They used to do this in paper design sometime. They take like a green card that would cost... Yes, please, I'll have a chocolate digestive, thank you. That's what the rustling noise was in the background. They take a green card that costs like 5 in paper. Well, like 1 mana in paper. Let's talk about paper mana. Yeah, and then they make a red version of it, but because it wasn't strictly speaking in the right place in the colour pie, they would make it more expensive. But again, I think that's kind of what this is as well. I'm sure there are cheaper cards in standard right now in green that do fights. And given that we're all playing with 3 coloured planeswalkers and the way that coloured mana even works in Puzzle Quest, I don't think there's a place for even attempting to do that in this game. Reverform Mimic, yeah, this is going to get slightly bigger if we make the right match, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 2/1 and it turns into a 3/3. Ooh. This creature's power and toughness. Yeah, and if you reinforce it, it gets smaller, doesn't it? It's not base power and toughness, is it? If you've got 2 of them, it's a 4/2, and you make a match, it turns into a 3/3. Woohoo! Roar of the crowd. Deal 3 damage. 3 damage to the first opposing creature. I can't. How am I going to eat this while I'm talking constantly? It's just not going to happen. It's just going to sit. I've got a chocolate digestive now in the table in front of me. It's just going to sit there taunting me until I get to the end. How am I doing? 223 of 316. I've got ages to go. Can I have a little bite? No, Matt hates it, doesn't he? Matt will be watching this in the future, and if I chew, Matt will get really upset. In fact, I'm gonna have a little drink at the moment because my throat's a bit dry. I'm gonna stand over here a little bit in order to do that.
He doesn't like all the smacking.
Matt doesn't like the sound of me. There you go, Matt. That was for you. I'm suffering here. Not eating my chocolate digestive just for you, man. I hope you appreciate that. Is that a spider in the... No, it's a bunch of goblins in the background with... No, not a spider on the floor. No,
I was really worried.
I thought, no, on Roar of the Crowd, look, I thought that was a spider, but no, it's a load of goblins with sticks and stuff. 3 damage to the first opposing creature. Then if you control 3 damage to the first opposing creature. Yeah, whatever. Rugged Prairie. Okay, so this is the white-red one. And again, there are some white-red options here, aren't there? I mean, we're doing better with off-coloured planeswalkers, I think, than we had been with the friendly planeswalker colours that we had in the Shadowmoor lands. Obviously, we've had, Dak in blue-red, and we've had Grist. But the white-black one was pretty good too. And now here in white-red, we've got Kalemni. Doesn't really see a lot of play these days, but, she's powerful. She used to be a very good pick for, and probably still is actually, for training grounds, Because you can just fetch your 1 good creature for 4 loyalty, which is really cheap. So you can pretty much just put 1 creature in the deck, to be honest, in Kalemni. And this is quite a good way to pay for it as well, putting 15 mana into a card in your hand, isn't it? Yeah, so you're paying 4 loyalty to fetch a massive creature. What is it, like 14 or more mana?
14.
Yeah, and then this puts 15 into it. So this seems to fit nicely into Kalemni. Quintorius Canned. Now, Quintorius Canned, again, I really like playing in Colours of Magic, and I play a lot of Conversion Land because it's important to get your hands on that loyalty to play Quintorius Canned, Because that's what you really need to pump its first ability quite a lot and then win with his ultimate ability, and that requires getting a lot of loyalty. I'm not saying that this is not an extraordinarily powerful card in Quintorius Canned. Of course it is. 15 mana every turn. If you want to get some loyalty, what you do is you play one of these, you use the 15 mana to play a Dragonhawk. That's where your loyalty is coming from, okay? It's just that you need to bear that in mind. Don't just play this as your accelerator in Quintorius Canned, because mana's not the only thing you care about in Quintorius Canned. You want some loyalty as well to really cheat. But again, you know, 15 mana every turn, obviously too powerful. Rustic Lachan, what have we got? Oh, it's a conversion land. It is a conversion land at 8 mana. That's slightly too expensive, I think. But 8 mana, 3 gems to white, and an extra thing. I mean, it seems shit, doesn't it? It's really only a few years ago, if you'd have gone 7 mana, 3 gems to 1 single colour, and an extra thing on the end, you would have gone, yeah, that's a perfectly decent land. But, I mean, really, in this day, we've just scrolled past Rugged Prairie. It's really hard. It's really hard to get excited about 3 gems to white every turn when we're getting 15 mana every turn. Even 8 mana every turn. Frankly... So even though I think this is kind of where we should be with lands, this isn't going to get any play. You know? Maybe if they busted it down to uncommon and we could play it in Silver Jewel. Yeah, maybe. But it's not, is it? It's rare. So, nope. Yeah, no, you see, this is directly competing with the Clue lands. Really, that's the problem, isn't it? It's not really this. But at rare, we've got the Clue lands, which not only convert 4 gems. Now, it's 4 gems to 2 different colours, but, you know, there's still more gems. And also, crucially, investigating. So, to drawing card to replace the card that you've just had. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to get any play at all. Lands are a mess. Sage of Fables. When a wizard enters the battlefield under your control, that creature gets +1/+1. Okay, whatever. Activate 1. Yeah, there it is. It's the Activate 1 set after all. I think it's just a theme generally of Eventide and Shadowmoor, isn't it? Activate 1. So they've copied that across. Sage's Dowsing. Kindred Wizard. Increase the cost of the first card you impose down by 4. They've got the wizard can draw a card for 9. Obviously rubbish. Sanity Grinding. Let's have us a masterpiece. Destroy the top X cards of your opponent's library. X is equal to your chroma blue. Right. So do you want to play a space-time anomaly? Dump about 60 cards in the graveyard? Or do you want to do this and dump about 5? About 5 cards in the graveyard. Mill 10, convert 5 gems to blue. Right, not good enough. Mill 20, draw a card. Even worse. Mill 30, return a single random opposing non-token support to their owner's hand. So clearly the milling effect is absolute shit. So what we've got to think about is, would you put this card in a deck with Space-Time Anomaly in it? What if you were doing all of the milling with something else? So every time you cast this card for 9, you were converting 5 gems to blue, you were drawing a card, you were returning a random opposing non-token support to the owner's hand. Would you do that? Yeah? No, you wouldn't, would you? You'd cast Raise the Past and win the game, wouldn't you? That's what you'd do. So, no, sorry, Sanity Grinding. Just bad design. When this creature attacks, this 18 mana 2/5. 18 mana 2/5. I mean, come on, alright. When this creature attacks, fetch the first card from your library. Right, now if it's going to put 4 mana in it, we might be able to talk. 18 mana 2/5, because that's only really a few more mana than like a Cruel Claw or a Loot, isn't it? So if it was going to put full mana into that card every time it attacked, we might be able to talk about that card.
I do like Cruel Claw.
It's not... You do like Cruel Claw, yes. It's not doing that though, is it? If it's a creature card, gain life equal to its toughness. If it's not a creature, you don't even get to keep the card. Move that card back to the top of your library. Just utter shit. Savage Consent. Do we even call that high shit tier? I mean, I suppose you become... High mid-shit tier is the best you're getting out of me. No, you don't. Because you don't. A lot of turns you get literally nothing. You're just hitting for 2 points of damage. And when you don't get literally nothing, you get some life. Yeah, high mid-shit tier. Mid-shit tier? Yeah, we're busting it down to mid-shit tier. Savage Conception. 2 beast tokens. They're going to be like, oh, they're looking at that. They're 4/4s. This always been this really weird thing in Magic Puzzle Quest, always since the very start of the game, that cards that create tokens generate a lot more power and toughness than cards that are actual creatures. So here we've got an 8 mana 8/8. That's what this is. This is an 8 mana 8/8. Can you think of any 8 mana 8/8? I mean, if you can, I bet it's a bloody masterpiece or a mythic, isn't it? Geezer and Geralf is like 12 mana, 10 mana for an 8/8. How many 8 mana 8/8s can you think of? That's a really good return on investment for hitting things. But actual creatures are always worse than that. It's always tokens that are better than that. Isn't that weird? So, I mean, definitely high shit tier for an 8 mana 8/8. And we've got Retrace on it. So maybe you can get some more 8 mana 8/8s. Definitely high shit tier. I mean, is this good enough to get out of high shit tier? Probably not, no. But definitely high shit tier. But, you know, just fat. Anything can win the game. I mean, I'm intrigued by it, but, you know, it's not getting much higher than high shit tier, and it's probably not getting out of that. Scarblade Elite, 8 mana 2/2. See, this is what I'm talking about. 8 mana 2/2, 8 mana 8/8. Activate 2. Exile the first creature card from your graveyard, then destroy the first opposing creature. Do we want... I mean, we don't like Activate 2. Do we like having a creature? No, we don't, do we? Because we've got better than this, haven't we? What have we got that kills a creature every single turn? Because maybe we don't. There must be something. What's that frog thing? What's that blue frog thing? And every time it attacks, so like a 1/3, and it bounces something out of play every turn. There you go. There's a thing that gets rid of a creature every turn. Sivert knows what I'm talking about. I think Swarmyard brings it back from the graveyard. Sivert's in. He won't let me down. Come on, Sivert. You can do it. It's like a 13 mana amphibian downpour. No, it's not amphibian downpour. It's an actual creature. I'm going to go and look. It's like a 13 mana. What I'm looking for is a creature that kills an opposing card every single turn, like Rakdos used to do. But Rakdos only kills supports now. Blue. Standard. Mana cost. This is an incredibly pointless detour, isn't it? Shout when you see it. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. I thought it was 13 mana, but obviously I'm mistaken. Maybe I had to show all cards. 12. We're down to 12 already now. Maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Azure Beastbinder, says Zivert. I knew Zivert would let me down. Good man. Azure Beastbinder. There. Oh, it was 13 mana. Obviously, you just couldn't see it. When this creature attacks, destroy a random opposing support. If you can't destroy an opposing creature, then create a bat token. Okay, so it's like it has to destroy the support first. And if there are supports in play, it won't destroy a creature. So it's, you know, there are times when it's going to be really bad at killing creatures. But at its best, it's going to be killing a creature every single turn. So, no, we definitely don't want a creature. Oh, what the hell am I doing? I'm going these two. I'm going card name. I'm going like that. And then I'm going to try and remember where the hell I was. Scarblade Elite. That's where we were. So, because the thing is, activate 2 is bad, isn't it? You know, I don't mind a creature that gets rid of multiple creatures. I quite liked Agros Kos, you know. I mean, I didn't like Agros Kos. I didn't actually play Agros Kos, but I didn't mind the idea of a card. You know, that it used to attack, didn't it, and give something suspect, and then it used to attack and kill something, and that seemed like it was in the same ballpark in power levels as a charter. I actually didn't mind a charter. The thing is, a charter's a card from a very long time ago. That's a vampire. Kills a creature every 2 turns. And by the time we got to Agros Kos, that was not powerful enough, killing a creature every 2 turn. I mean, by all means, make an 8 mana creature that kills multiple opposing creatures, but don't tie it to activate 2. That just makes it way too bad. Scarecrow. Oh, that's quite cool artwork, actually. When another Scarecrow creature you control dies, draw a card. Then, if you have 6 cards in hand, return the first artifact creature from your graveyard to play under your control. I mean, whatever. If there's a Johnny out there who really wants to build a Scarecrow deck, I, for one, would love to see it. One of these big auras. Target creature gets +4/+4. It gains first strike. It gains lifelink. Well, lifelink's a thing, isn't it? But I mean, yeah, we don't care about that. Does that get to be in high shit? At this point, I don't. Yeah, I suppose it gets to be. Your mastering cards, you can throw this on anything, can't you? And then, you know, get through that first level of Fateful Showdown with +4/+4 and lifelink. We quite like lifelink when we're mastering cards because it means we don't run out of potions. Which, if you're mastering really bad cards, occasionally happens. So maybe that gets to be in low high shit tier. Seething Pathblazer. When an elemental creature dies, this creature gets +3/+0 on first strike until the beginning of your next turn. Whatevs. Selkie Hedge Maze. Oh gosh. If you control 2 or more land supports, gain 3 life. Really? Gain 3 life? That's a thing that we care about, is it? When it leaves the battlefield, if you control 2 or more land supports, including their reinforcements, you may return your last creature to your hand. This card is just full of words we do not give a shit about, isn't it? Just crammed full of words. It's a real kind of octagon design, that one. Awful. I don't even much like the artwork. It's like a first draft, doesn't it? Is that what a Selkie looks like? Maybe it is. Sensation Gorger. I mean, what the hell is that? Is that a goblin? Why has he propped his eyes open? So he can't not see. I see. Right, I've got it, yeah? So he's got his eyes propped open, so he can't not see. He's got a skunk on his head. He's got big horns in his ears. He's a Sensation Gorger. I get it. Yeah? Do you see what they're doing there? Sarah's giving me a look like, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't draw the artwork. Kinship Goblin, draw up to 3 cards. Those cards gain 3 mana. Yeah, well, 3 mana's not enough, is it? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so, no. I think when you're playing... it's going to be one of those Tribes of Shadowmoor events, isn't it? Where you've got to play a lot of goblins. That's when you're most likely to play this. And you're not going to play this, are you? You're going to play Boggart Harbinger, aren't you? That's how you're going to play a lot of goblins. I don't think you're going to play with this. Shard Volley. Deal 3 damage to target creature. If you control a land support with 2 or more shield, deal 6 damage instead. Whatevs. Shared Animosity. Let's have a masterpiece. When this card enters the board, create 2 Shapeshifter tokens. Now these are changelings. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control get +3/+0 until the beginning of your next turn, so not permanently. Then, if you have at least 3 different creatures that share a subtype on the battlefield, you can see already this is a Clive design, isn't it? Yeah, because they're shapeshifters. Oh, that's clever, isn't it? Yeah, so if you could put like an elf down, put this down and 2 more elves, then you've got 3 elves on the battlefield. So they all get +3/+3, and they all get another +3/+3. I mean, okay, I guess you have to call that. Guess you have to call that high shit tier. I suppose, begrudgingly, you have to call that high shit tier, but nobody's building a deck out of it. I will. When I'm mastering cards, right, when I master this card, I am going to check the creature types of the other shit cards I'm mastering to make sure this triggers. And that is the nicest thing I can say about Shared Animosity. Shell Skulkin. When this creature enters the battlefield, your first blue creature gains hexproof until the beginning of your next turn. Yeah, that's another one of those octagon designs, isn't it? Shine Wend. When this creature dies or loses a reinforcement, destroy a random opposing enchantment support. Yeah, can't be having it. Can't be having... Well, there are two things on here. Firstly, it's affecting too narrow an amount of things. Just enchantment supports, that's too narrow. And then secondly, only doing it when it dies, rather than when it comes into play, not good enough. All wrapped up in a 1/1 body. Just lots and lots of we don't care. Shore Crasher Mimic. Here we go. So this one at least has the decency to not power itself down if you've reinforced it once. It powers itself down when you reinforce it twice, because it would be a 6/3, wouldn't it? That then becomes a 5/3. But at least when you have two of them in play, it goes upwards from 4 power to 5 power. Thanks very much. Shrewd Hatchling. Oh, I like this. It's a vicious looking thing, isn't it? When this creature... Oh, I see. This is another one of those 9 mana 6/6s. We've had a few of these already. Again, create 4 blight gems. Activate 1 blue or red. Creature gains unblockable. Clear a blight gem. Yeah, it's just a kind of mid-shit tier creature. Did I say these were low, high shit tier? Maybe I can't even remember now. Or high mid-shit tier. Who even knows? When, with Sigil Tracer, who is an 18 mana 2/2, when you cast a non-copy spell card, for the first time during your turn, create a copy of that card in your hand. That copy gains full mana. I feel like some people are going to like this. I mean, I don't want to do this. I want to get that full mana either straight away with a Phenomenon Investigators, you know, or every single turn with a loot. I don't really want to play this and then also play the spell that I want to copy. Because remember, you can't... It's not that you can play a cheap spell and then get loads of free mana into an expensive spell. It copies the spell that it copies, that you cast. So, I mean, I've been mastering this in Planar Chaos with my deck with Space-Time Anomaly and Raise the Past. And by the time it's copied something, it's already too late because I've already got an enormous amount of power on the table. If you're interested, the 2 other cards I'm mastering with it. I'm mastering this because it's crap. Then the other 2 cards I'm mastering with it, I believe, are Cyber Drive Awakener. I'm going to go and have a look. Planeswalker. This is what I'm playing at the moment in Planar Chaos. And it is Space-Time Anomaly, Raise the Past, Mystical Teachings, and 7 unmastered cards. So it does have a habit of losing against those the really big opponents that can convert a lot of gems into void gems. There it is, Sigil Tracer. Look. Oh yeah. So these are the cards I'm playing with: the Cyber Drive Awakener, Exalted Sunborn. So these are the ones that get big. Exalted Sunborn gets quite big, ends up being like a 40/40. Cyber Drive Awakener ends up being about 280. And Sigil Tracer is an unimportant thing I'm also mastering. Again, I feel like some people are going to like it. Does it only copy like once? Sigil Tracer. When you cast a non-copy spell for the first time, create a copy of that card in your hand. That copy gains 4 mana. No, so you can play as many spells as you like. Obviously, it only copies each spell once, because then the copy that you play is a copy and not a non-copy. But I feel like there are going to be people out there who are going to enjoy it. Do you throw it in a deck? Maybe you throw it in a deck with Tempt with Discovery, and then you just keep going and going and going. But do you need it? Doesn't Tempt with Discovery just keep going and going and going all on its own? Isn't that what's good about Tempt with Discovery? It seems a bit win more to me, but I don't know. Maybe maybe you do throw it into your Tempt with Discovery deck. I mean, it's blue, isn't it? Blue-green, we get to play with Flooded Grove. That's the blue-green colour identity land. Yeah, maybe I'm doing this card a disservice. It's still... It's too much combo for my liking, but... Yeah, some people are going to like that card. Let's just say that about it. Let's head back to the cards. We were on... Ding, 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 ding. Sigil Tracer. On to Slippery Boggle. There's Gollum on his rock. Yeah. Why do we want a 1/1? Of course, you want a 1/1 hexproof in paper because you can stick loads of things on it and attack and win. And people used to, in fact, do that. I think they used to do that with this exact card.
Did they?
Yeah, pretty sure they did. They used to play with Slippery Boggle. They used to play... The slightly better one was... There was one in one of the... like Innistrad Avacyn sets. It was like a Invisible Stalker, I want to say. And it was like a 2-mana 1/1 with Unblockable and Hexproof. And they used to load that up with creature enchantments and just win. And I think that got as far as like standard tournaments. Why do we want it in Magic Puzzle Quest? Simple answer is we don't. So the Muse. When this creature leaves the battlefield, if you win the first card in your hand, it gains full mana. Right. Leaves the battlefield. I mean, if you like, I mean, it does have Evoke, doesn't it? So, like, but I don't think that's going to work, is it? In fact, Evoke is a pain. If you've got 3, whenever you draw an Evoke card, it becomes disabled. Doesn't it say that? Cards, yes. Cards with Evoke are drawn disabled. But there's also a bug where it disables some of the other cards in your hand, which is like really bad if you're playing a combo deck and you draw one of these and it happens to disable one of the other cards in your deck. But I mean, I definitely don't want one of these for a Loop Hero deck because, like, you know, I'm playing with Phenomenon Investigators and I'm playing with Quantum Riddler and I'm playing with Bright Glass Colossus, and I don't want cards that only work when I've got 3 other creatures in play. I want them to start working straight away. So, you know, we always like seeing full mana on cards, don't we? When we're looking for overpowered cards. But I think this particular one, it's kind of rubbish because the rest of it, you don't want to wait, you know, the leaving the battlefield because of Evoke. That's a very particular circumstance when you've got 3 creatures in play. The rest of the time, you don't have to wait for it to die. So, no. Snake form. Destroy the first opposing creature, then create a green snake token under your opponent's control. I mean, I really don't know why they made this 14 mana. Because if they made it 8 mana, if they just made it 8 mana, then everyone who was playing with Turn to Frog would go, oh, I need to get my hands on a snake form. If they made it 9 mana and made you gain 1 life when you played it, everyone would say, oh, I need to play with that. In fact, it's blue and green. Just the fact they could have made it 9 mana like Turn to Frog. And then just the fact that you can put it in a green deck would give people a chance to play it. I mean, most of us are playing Stroke of Midnight these days. On those events where the objective is to kill a lot of your opponent's creatures. I think most of us are playing Stroke of Midnight since some bright spark, I don't know who it was, some bright spark figured out that you can cast Stroke of Midnight even if your opponent doesn't have any creatures in play, and it gives them a 1/1 creature, and then you can start killing that over and over and over again. So a lot of us aren't even playing Turn to Frog and haven't for ages, but why is this so much more expensive than Turn to Frog? Like, just because it's common, and commons have to be shit. Soot Imp. When a player casts a non-black non-land card, that's what that says in a strange way, they lose 1 life. Right. Soul Reap. Destroy the first opposing creature with mana cost 14 or less. Yes, I did master this in Commoner's Cup. Since you asked, that is exactly when I mastered that card. When this card, it seems like I'm in the middle of mastering this one in Silver Jewel right now. Zibvert said, I missed that ages ago. Failure destroys an opponent card each turn too. Oh, I wish I remembered that. That was a good one. That was a thing I was talking about ages ago now. Never mind. Soul Snuffers. Yeah, we don't care about Soul Snuffers. Spirit of the Hearth. What's going on here? 9 mana, 4/5. Okay. At the beginning of your turn, your Planeswalker gains hexproof until the beginning of your next turn. I mean, honestly, how many spells get pointed at Planeswalkers? Hands up. Standard. We're thinking of standard here. How many cards get pointed at Planeswalkers? How many spells? No, I'm having difficulty thinking of one as well. Do you care enough about the occasional time you might face infinite obliteration to put one of these in your deck? It needs to be more, doesn't it? Hexproof. You get hexproof permanently. How about, while it's in play, let's have a fucking alley from Cairo. While it's in play, your Planeswalker gains prevent damage. That'd put the fucking cat amongst the pigeons, wouldn't it? Oh, Goz would not like that. But I mean, come on. We all put the ability to kill creatures in our decks, don't we? Surely, yeah, fuck it. Let's have a card that gives your Planeswalker, a creature that sits in play and gives your Planeswalker prevent damage. Maybe it gets smaller every turn. Maybe it's like a 6/6 and it gets -1/-1 every turn. But fuck it, why not? Certainly be better than this thing. Spite Bellows. When this creature leaves the battlefield, 6 damage to target creature. Evoke is so much nothing, isn't it? Do you think they think that we have 3 creatures in play all the time? Maybe they do. Spite Mare. When this creature is dealt damage, deal that much damage to a random opposing target. I feel like you get to choose the target in the paper version. And that makes, I'm going to go and check that. I'm just off to my PC. I'm going to type Spite Mare into Google, and I'm sure it will come up with MTG. And deals that much damage to target creature or player. Yeah, they couldn't be bothered, could they? Obviously, when it gets hit, you want to choose where the damage goes, and the fact that you can't choose where the damage goes and it just sprays around at random makes it considerably worse. They just couldn't be asked to code it like that. Do we care? Probably not. Since it doesn't block, again, make it defensive. How about that? Give it a defensive ability. Make it like a 3/20 with Defender. When it takes damage, you get to choose which damage to send it to. Still bad, isn't it? I'm trying really hard to make this card better, and it's quite difficult, isn't it? Yeah, hats off. Hats off to Webcore. You know, they really know just to not bother trying to fix cards that are terrible and trying to make them better, because sometimes it's a bit hard to do. Spitting Image. Well, I mean, here we are, clearly. Create a copy of target non-token creature into play under your control. There's your Loop Hero card. We haven't really seen any of these for a while. I mean, we did have the Knucklevi earlier, but that only worked in mono red decks. But this is another Loop Hero card. It's not one that starts the loop. So I'm not sure what. As I say, when I'm playing Loop Hero, that's every card, as you remember, draws the next card and pays for it in much the same way that this is. So when you cast this, you're copying a Bright Glass Gearhulk or a Quantum Riddler or something. Again, this doesn't start the loop, which is a problem. When I play the Guff version of this deck, there's not enough ways of starting the loop. So that's what we're looking out for. It doesn't have any extra value on it either, like, you know, Heat Shimmer acts as a win conditions, because it's not only is it copying things, it's giving things haste. But it just is one more Loop Hero card to try and ensure that Loop Hero keeps going. Do we think Loop Hero will be viable as a combo deck after rotation? Probably not, but it is concerning that they're still printing cards for it. So, I mean, I'll certainly master that card in my Loop Hero deck. Springjack Pasture. 9 mana at the beginning of your turn, gain 3 mana. Yeah, I'd rather get either 8 or 15 mana. Thanks very much. Activate 3, create a goat. When a goat dies, gain 3 mana. Yeah, not good enough. Springjack Shepherd. When this creature enters the battlefield, create X goat tokens. What's going on with the goats all of a sudden? So this is creating a lot of 1/1s. Yeah, it's a 1/2. It's creating a lot of 1/1s. And by a lot, I mean really not enough. Squeaking Pie Grubfellas. What is going on here? You're one ugly motherfucker. Goblin, when your opponent discards the last card from his hand. Kinship Goblin. Your opponent discards the last card from his hand. That is not the one we want to do. Obviously, again, I've mastered that in the Commoners Cut. Stacker Bow? No, Stalker Hag. As long as your opponent controls a land card against Menace, don't do me any favours. Stench Skipper. This is a 9 mana 6/5. Okay, so you would expect this to be better than all the 9 mana 6/6s we've seen at Uncommon. So we want it to have an extra thing. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a goblin creature, reinforce this creature. So go +6, +5 every turn, but only if you control a goblin or like a changeling. Otherwise, this creature gains imminent death. I mean, no. No, absolutely not. Needs to be more than just some fat that might die if you don't. You know, you just absolutely have to be in control of the board and not have no chance of any of your creatures dying. Or it just dies. Stigma Lasher. That's some fearsome art, isn't it? I very much like that art. When this creature deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker. How are we doing for time? 10:30. Yeah, do you know what? I think we might call it a day. Let's get past this. Tell you what, I can see a masterpiece creeping on the side of the screen. Let's do Stigma Lasher, let's do the masterpiece, and then let's call it a day for tonight. When this creature, this 15 mana 3/3 with Wither. Withered has got Wither and Menace, isn't it? I mean, even in paper, that's a weird combination. I mean, if it's got Wither, why would you want it to not engage in combat? But then again, you've always got the chance of blocking with it. When this creature deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, the opposing planeswalker can't gain life for the rest of the game. Now, this needs to be rare and cost 11 mana, doesn't it? Because this would really fuck up those Quintorius Can decks that are absolutely owning Colours of Magic right now. I mean, this is kind of the kind of card that if you see somebody and they are playing with Quintorius Can, you can absolutely sideboard this in, can't you? I think, because most people are playing with Quintorius Can, a big part of their strategy is just to stall the game out and gain a shitload of life and kill you with their ultimate. It's not everything they can do. I think most Quintorian Can players, outside Colours of Magic, do tend to go, well, you know, here's a Dragonhawk. Because, you know, why would you not? So don't assume that they're completely toothless if you prevent them from gaining life. But I don't know, I think 15 mana 3/3 is too much for this. I'd be looking at like a 6 mana 3/3. But I like the effect. And it's a permanent effect as well. You know, it hits them, and then even if it dies, the effect is applied. They can't gain any more life. I mean, I guess that's why it's got menace. Presumably the idea is, I seem to remember this in paper actually, the idea is that it withers creatures, that's why it's got wither, but it's also like withering the player as well. I think that's kind of the idea behind the design. I do seem to remember there was a bit of, this may have made it into sideboards or even main decks in standard. I don't know. I like the basic design work there. Like I say, I don't even mind the fact this really does seem like a card you could sideboard. I think Webcore get a bit caught up in the idea of sideboarding things, of playing Valgavoth against Grist, for example, which I posted about on the forum earlier if you've not noticed that, or the fact that, you know, you can play Desert against Grist or something. Can you? Okay, whatever. But this really does seem like a thing you could play against Quintorius Can, but 15 mana seems a bit too expensive for it. I like the design. I probably will never ever play it. It will languish in my folder, doing nothing. Let's make this the last card for the night. It's going to be bad, actually. I can tell by the fact that it has protection from black and white that it's going to be really, really bad. This is a 12 mana 2/1. When you activate a loyalty ability for the first time during your turn, well, you can only activate one loyalty ability during your turn, can't you? Presumably. Is it talking about Planeswalker Vanguard abilities as well? Sorry? Vanguards and Planeswalker abilities? Who knows? Anyway, it's a 12 mana 2/1. I mean, it's got First Strike and Vigilance, but it's not enough, is it? It's too small. We've seen Vigilance blockers with First Strike, killing some things, being larger than this. It's Phyrexian Vindicator again, isn't it? But yeah, you know, we always like, if we're going to have a blocker that out-survives things, we like having prevent damage on it. Vraska does the whole blocker with First Strike and Death Touch, doesn't it? But this is just too small. 12 mana 1/1 with +2/+1 permanently. It's just too small. Still, we do like the art though. This is the art in the loading, when you're loading your game, aren't you? We do quite like the art. And in fact, you can't see his sword hand. Quite like that. Quite like the art. Don't like the card. Okie dokie. Thanks everyone for being in. We'll call it a night for the moment. We will definitely get through the last 60 or so cards, 50 or so cards in the next part of the review. Still not really seeing a whole lot, are we? I mean, what have we've seen very underwhelming stuff, like more color identity lands. Well, we knew about those. It's not really interesting collecting a bunch more of those. And one more Loop Hero card. Anyway, thanks all for being in. And I'm going to turn this off now because I'm good at turning things off and I know